We're back on the Chef You and I, and what we're going to be doing now is my pork chops with mushrooms and apples and onions. And I like to use apples and onions and mushrooms in it because it's really a tasty dish and it's easy to do. You can do it in the oven or you can do it on top of the stove. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lightly bread with panko these beautiful pork chops, and then I'm going to put them into the frying pan. And you don't want to use a lot of breading because we're trying to keep it light, and I like panko because it's really light. So we're going to do that. And my husband really loves this dish, and we can have it the next night too. I do usually around 4 or 5 pork chops, and then we have a nice salad, and it's going to taste really great. So I'm using my trusty dusty Bagwell. I use it for everything, and then I can get rid of the bread panko because I can just throw away the bag, which makes it really nice. So here we go. We've got all 4 or 5 of them in there, and then you just take this off. This is good, and then we'll throw it away, and we're done with it. I just need a minute to wash my hands off, and I'll be right back. Well, we're just browning our pork chops right now, and as soon as they're brown, I'm going to do these on top of the stove in this wonderful skillet, and it'll get them really nice and tender. And I'm actually going to be cutting up some nice onions because I think it's really nice to have onions and mushrooms and apples because it's a nice blend of vegetables, and you don't want to use a lot of onions. You just want to use a few. So just do that. And I'm using white onion. And then I did all my mushrooms ahead of time, so we're going to have those chopped up mushrooms. And then we're going to add our slices of apple. And believe it or not, I'm going to use a little tequila with it. It tastes really good. And I do it every year, and people are very surprised when they find out that I use tequila. Or you can use wine. It tastes really good too. So that should do it. You don't need any more than that. So we're going to do this. Chop up the onions really fine. Nice. Okay, so let's turn over these. And nice and brown. Okay. Now I'm going to take these pork chops out for a minute, and I'm going to put them on a platter, or a plate, right? And what we're going to do is, then we'll do our onions and mushrooms, and then add everything back in. So that looks good. I'll do that. Because you're going to steam the pork chops as well. Sometimes I do this all in the oven. It makes it easier. All right, now add your onions and mushrooms. I love gadgets, as you all know. Now I don't use garlic in this one, so I'm going to put the onions in. And then we're going to add the mushrooms. These are beautiful mushrooms. All right, that looks good. I'll turn that down a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper to that, or lemon pepper, which I absolutely love to work with. Let me get some lemon pepper out. I've got it right here. Gives it a really nice flavor. Since I can't use garlic, I use other spices to make it really nice. And then when you brown those for a little while, okay, and they just get translucent, then you add your pork chops back in, and then you add your apples. That looks good. All right. Now I got a layer of those. Now I'm going to add the pork chops back. All right, put those on top. top. Right. Right. That's right. Right on. Okay. Now we'll add the apples on top of it. They're right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got quite a few apples. So we'll add the apples. I love sliced apples. All right, we've got tons of them. It's a great dish, especially in the fall, especially if you're having a crowd. And we're having a few people over tonight. So this will be nice. This is just right. And then I could add those other apples to my salad that I'm going to do. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back, and I'm going to add some other things into the mixture, and then we're going to let it steam. I always like to use a little bit of bouillon base in my cooking on the Chef You and I. So I put a little bit of a bouillon base, and I'm going to add some partentia. You can use wine, you don't have to use, you could use beer, you could use anything. But I like to use tequila. So I'm going to add about maybe a 1/4 cup of tequila. And I'm mixing that in with this. And you can see me doing this. And then I'm going to add it to the mixture. I'm going to pour it over it. And it'll blend in. I'm going to add a little water to that. And then we'll turn this on, and we'll turn it down, and we'll let it simmer for about 35 minutes until it's really tender. Okay, now we're done with that. And now we're going to make the red slaw. So we're going to need to take a short break, and we'll be right back on the Chef You and I. And all the recipes will be up on our website on the Chef You and I. We'll take a short break.